from Southern Maryland's weather leader. This is a JB Weather Report.
Good Tuesday evening, and I'm forecaster John Bordash sitting with you in the JB Weather Center just before 7 p.m. looking over all the latest data and working on this forecast as we move into a pretty high interest period this weekend as the largest winter storm in several years, or potentially even largest winter storm in a decade, looks to potentially impact the Mid-Atlantic Saturday going into Sunday, maybe even lingering into Monday. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, though, there are a couple things I want to touch on quick. Primarily this warm-up we got going on Wednesday to Thursday. It's crazy that I'm using the term mild to describe a day in the 40s. That's still technically below average, but Wednesday will feel much warmer in comparison to next Wednesday, where temperatures are going to struggle to reach freezing. Thursday is the warmest day in which we are looking at temperatures getting up near 50. I do want to turn your attention quickly to Friday, though. Cold air returns, temperatures in the 30s most of the day. We are going to have a weak little system, a blip of atmospheric energy move overhead Friday afternoon. It is in my experience that these small little blips ahead of big storms sometimes can produce enough onshore flow to maybe see a couple of rain or snow showers in southeastern zones as they move through. So I'll be watching that on Friday. I put the idea of a spotty flurry in there for Friday. Not enough of a chance for me to put a full snowflake on Friday, but this is something I'm going to watch. I don't think this would be big, but the potential for some snow does exist Friday, separate from the weekend threat. This weekend, though, it's going to be cold and snow looks very likely now for Sunday, potentially lingering into Monday. I don't know how much of a Saturday event this is anymore, which we can talk about, but cold air develops this weekend and lingers with us through much of next week. Let's talk about that weekend storm threat. And again, we're still tracking that area of low pressure moving through the deep south, and that's going to be moving out east as we head towards the weekend. As it does so, cold air settles in, which allows for that potential of snow and winter weather. The real question is, how strong is that cold air to the north, and does it stint the storm too far south to give the Mid-Atlantic any potential impacts? We have option one, which would be a northern track that would give the Mid-Atlantic the potential heaviest winter weather potential, or option two that really focuses on the southeast. And really the goal here today and tomorrow is to look at the trends. Are our models, are the guidance, are the tools we have trending more towards an option one or two? The track that this storm eventually takes, it will impact everything from totals to timing and overall impacts. It is possible that, your weather app could be right, and we could see over a foot of snow from this if it takes the right track, but it is possible that this puppy gets stinted well down to the south, and much of the Mid-Atlantic sees nothing. I posted it this morning, but this is what we're looking at. Areas of high pressure, and really, what do those slight wobbles look like? Are we able to see this storm track really get narrowed down in a way where we can say confidently one way or another? I think regardless, the lower Mid-Atlantic, I'm thinking Virginia and Maryland, have the best shots to see a winter weather out of this, and let's really detail these options. Our European model has been the one that's been the most on the bandwagon of the northern track consistently. It brings the storm up through the southeast off the Carolina coast. Really more of a southern slider than a nor'easter. Nor'easter like the blizzards of 2009 and 2010, or the blizzard of 2016 or 2003, 1996. Those were all nor'easters, and I don't think we're looking at a nor'easter potential just yet. This right now looks like a southern slider, and if it were to occur in this way, where it's a little bit further to the north, moving through the Carolinas off the Carolina coast with the high pressure not as strong, that would put that heaviest band of snow potentially right through the Mid-Atlantic, definitely promoting the idea of significant impacts. On the other hand, though, if this storm gets stinted about 100, 150 miles to the south, maybe goes off the Georgia, South Carolina coast, that's going to focus the highest winter weather impacts through the Carolinas with only minor impacts for the Mid-Atlantic. That southern solution, icing would be the biggest concern through the southeast, and significant snows. When I think significant, I'm thinking probably at least half a foot of snow, about 6 inches plus. Really looking there through parts of the Carolinas. Honestly, like Charlotte, North Carolina would be a good pin marker for that. But significant snows in that purple zone up to about Richmond. Again, the Washington, D.C. area, southern Maryland, northern Virginia, northern Maryland, the Delmarva, right there on the edge between very little to a whole bunch to the south. And I think in this solution, much of the Mid-Atlantic, the D.C. metro area would be on the outside looking in with maybe minor to most moderate snow. But that northern solution, this is the one that a lot of your phone apps are showing. It takes a northern track, and what that would do is put those significant snows right through the heart of our coverage area, right into the DC metro area as we go Sunday throughout the day. Moderate snows could then get into Pennsylvania, up to New York, and maybe even some minor snows getting up into New England. If this storm is allowed to take a northern track, it is going to be a slower storm, and that's why I think we are really looking at primarily a Sunday event here, where maybe some snow showers develop after sunset on Saturday, but the bulk of this would be on Sunday. If the storm can slow down just enough in phase or interact a little bit more with the cold air in the upper levels of the atmosphere, they could almost merge in a sense and allow for our nor'easter to try to pop and just kind of hang out near the northeast for maybe half a day or a day. And this could promote even bigger snow totals. So we have a lot of options on the table, more than my simplistic graphic here shows, but there's a lot to be monitoring. And in the very least, I think we have a moderate to high chance of winter weather primarily on Sunday. So we are going to continue to watch this. As you can tell, there's a lot that I'm looking at today, and there will be a lot that I'm looking at going into the next several days. You're going to want to keep it tuned right here to JB Weather for the latest information. There's going to be a lot of information, and honestly some disinformation, some not honest players out there that are going to try to push clickbait, and you can follow that if you want, but I'll be keeping it here for reliable, local, and consistent weather coverage to keep you and your family one step ahead of this winter storm potential. In the very least, snow is beginning to look a little bit more likely as we head into Sunday. I would definitely call it likely at this point. And yeah, several inches are possible, but we'll get more into totals on this as we head towards Thursday. Over the next 24 to 48 hours, though, we're going to look at trends and see what's being favored. In the meantime, I'm forecaster John Bordash. Please keep it tuned here to JB Weather. I have information across all of our socials: Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram, YouTube, and everything is definitely housed there on the website for you, jbweather.net. In the meantime, I'm forecaster John Bordash. Have a nice and safe one, and please keep it tuned right here to JB Weather for the latest information.
Check the forecast anytime online at jbweather.net.